leaves my hand until it comes into contact again. After 22 seconds of weightlessness, the pilots pull out of the dive, again subjecting us to hyper-G as the plane accelerates upwards. In total, we performed 13 of these zero-G parabolas, plus 1 Martian gravity and 2 moon gravity parabolas.
Okay, we are now in Mars gravity. In Mars gravity, I can do one-arm pull-ups, maybe. I am Martian.
We brought along some experiments to do in zero-G.
So this is in about 1 G of gravity. This is what the flame looks like on this barbecue lighter. Now we're going to try it in hyper-G, and then we'll try it in zero-G, and it should be... We will see.
We take it for granted that flames have this distinctive shape, but that's only because of gravity. The products of combustion have more energy, and so move around faster and take up more space than the cooler air around them. Therefore, there's a buoyant force on them which is greater than their weight, and so hot air rises. This helps pull in the oxygen from around the flame to continue the reaction.
We're going through hyper-G. I keep blowing out the candle because the stress of hyper-G is significant.
In hyper-G, this effect is magnified, since the effective gravity is almost twice as much. This amplifies the difference between the weight of the hot air and the weight of the cooler air around it, and so the hot air rises faster, making a longer flame.
Oh my goodness. Look how that flame just wafts in zero-G because there's much less buoyant force to carry away. And so the combustion is not as good. You can see a lot of smoke coming off of that candle. That is incredible. Hey!
So we still have the gas flow, so this is why the flame is not circular.
It still goes up because
it's not a sphere, but it looks very strange.
In zero-G, the hot air is still less dense than the cooler air, but now there is no weight and no buoyant force, so the flame doesn't rise as high. This flame still maintains some of its shape because of the flow of fuel from the lighter. Otherwise, the flame would form a sphere, like on the space station, where it's very difficult to maintain the combustion reaction because it's hard for oxygen to access the fuel with all of the combustion products getting in the way. So if you're ever unsure about what the gravitational acceleration is where you are, well, looking at a flame is a pretty good way of finding out. I also brought along a slinky to try the slow-motion slinky drop, but in zero-G. Of course, here I couldn't dangle the slinky under its own weight, so I swung it around my head instead. The effect should be similar, with each coil stretched to provide the tension that keeps the length of slinky beyond that accelerating in uniform circular motion. I wanted to see what happens to the end of the slinky when I let go.
here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Did you catch that? The slinky remained fairly stretched out and kept rotating at about the same frequency as before. Initially, I thought this was a boring result. But then I realized the reason the slinky doesn't contract is because weight was never part of this equation. The slinky stretched out in the first place because it was rotating. And since it's rotating after I let go, roughly the same amount of tension is required to maintain that circular motion, and so it doesn't contract. In zero-G, it's possible to have a stretched slinky rotating in place without contracting. As long as the tension in the slinky provides the centripetal force, it'll keep spinning. This just goes against my intuition, which is made, of course, only out of experience with gravity. Being weightless was an unforgettable experience, but maybe my favorite part was how it challenged my intuition. And that's the reason we need to do research in zero-G.
I want to say a huge thanks to the team at Nova Space